הניסים ועל הברכן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל הנפלאות, על הניסים ועל הברכן ועל הגבורות ועל התשועות ועל הנפלאות שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה, בזמן הזה שעשית לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
Welcome to Jewish Life, a program presented in cooperation with the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York. I'm your host, Stewart Ain. Every week, we present programs of particular interest to the Jewish community. And today, I'd like to welcome back Scott Richman. He's the New York, New Jersey Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League. Welcome back, Scott.
It's great to be back. Thank you for having me.
Good, thank you. Well, I wanted to see if we could talk about a number of things, new developments, among them the election of Zoran Mamdani. He's the new mayor of New York, and the ADL has raised several concerns about him and about his election. And Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO of the ADL, said among the other things that he was concerned about was the fierce animosity Mamdani has exhibited toward the Jewish state and has characterized his entire time. Also, the people he's associated with have been notorious and for their anti-Semitic comments. So I think those were two things he was concerned about. I know you met with him. People from the ADL, people from various groups have met with him, and he's provided some assurance. What do you think?
So let me correct you there. We have not met with him. ADL has not met with him. He has mentioned that some other Jewish organizations have met with him, yes. But we have not. And we've been concerned that the mainstream Jewish organizations have not met, and part of that may be a lack of interest in meeting with him at this time. There's a lot of concern about some of the things that he's said, and he recognizes that the Jewish community, part of the Jewish community at least, I don't want to speak for the whole Jewish community, but a significant part of the Jewish community is deeply concerned. And at this point, the ball is in his court, in terms of helping to calm the fears. He has certainly spoken out against anti-Semitism. We saw that immediately after the election. There were swastikas in a school in Brooklyn, and he spoke out forcefully about that. And actually, there was another anti-Semitic incident this weekend. He spoke out forcefully about the concern is really around some of the statements that he's made around Israel, continuing to term what's happening or what happened during the war a genocide. The call to reassess the situation with the partnership between Cornell and Technion. I mean, that for the Jewish community is heard as a call for BDS, for boycott, divestment, sanctions. Obviously, deeply, deeply concerning.
Maybe you want to expand about that. Cornell has this is in Staten Island, and
Roosevelt Island. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yes, Roosevelt Island. They have a campus together. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, so this was an initiative of the Bloomberg administration. Bloomberg administration put out an RFP for this tech campus on Roosevelt Island with Cornell, and looking for a partner around the world to go in with Cornell on this campus, which was going to really fuel tech boom in New York City, and certainly has been a part of the rise in the tech industry in New York, both providing incubator and also appropriate educated students. So that has been very successful. It opened in 2011, I believe, and it's been hugely successful.
And what's he concerned about? Because Technion is from Israel?
Technion is from Israel. It's an Israeli university. And I guess a statement was made several years ago about concern about that partnership because it's an Israeli university. And just before the election, Mamdani, or it was either him or somebody from his staff, was asked about that. And I think there was an opportunity there to correct the record and say, this is a successful partnership, a well-respected global university doing very important work for New York City, bringing a lot of knowledge and income to the city, and really helping to build it. But instead, the statement was, we're going to reassess that and reassess it based upon the fact that it is a partnership with Israel. And that's of concern to Mamdani, apparently. So, for us, that is a call for boycott, divestment, sanctions, BDS, which is very concerning. It doesn't mean he's definitely going to do it, but he has said that he would reassess, and that enough has raised the concern. And of course, there's the concern that was raised throughout the campaign around the statement, globalize the Intifada. So globalize the Intifada, we all lived through, I certainly lived through the first and second Intifada. I was living in Israel actually during the first Intifada. And, for me, that statement is a call for violence. And
It's a call to destroy all Jews.
yeah, it's a call for violence. And
Right.
um, when you look at it, and maybe there are ways to rationalize it, and maybe there are translations of the word that don't necessarily mean violence. I get all of that, but in many instances, this is a question of intent versus impact. And maybe the person using the word is not intending that. I have no way of knowing, but it doesn't matter. The way it lands for the Jewish community, or not every member of the Jewish community, but certainly a significant percentage of the Jewish community in this country, the impact is that that's a call for violence. And the idea that the mayor of New York City will not condemn that kind of statement when it is of such deep concern to the Jewish community is very difficult to hear. And this is again a series of things. It's not just one. It's a series of things that have given the Jewish community cause for concern. Um, but we do recognize and uh, uh, are pleased that he is calling out other forms of anti-Semitism. But we see this as deeply concerning.
Now, just a few weeks after his election, the Daily News reported that he's weighing in on a local legislative race, throwing his weight behind a left-wing Queens Assembly candidate whose political advisor believes it's time to, quote, draw the fire of the Israeli lobby. Um, so that's what can I tell? So he's
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
what people were afraid of.
he's associated with the Democratic Socialists of America. This is, as their platform. They're not supportive of Israel. They're not supportive of Israel as the Jewish state, and that's of course deeply concerning. Most Jews in this country see Israel as an integral part of their Jewish identity. This is not just some sort of optional piece of who Jews are, and an attack on Israel is an attack on the identity of most Jews. So again, there may be a different sort of intent, but that is the impact.
Now, the United Nations Security Council, General Assembly, uh, is about to convene, and as we record this, hasn't convened yet. As you probably see it, it's already happened. But the fact that he was saying that he is going to arrest the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, as soon as he gets off the plane, Netanyahu wanted to come to the Security Council, to General Assembly, and address the fact that the UN wanted to vote to support Israel and at the same time call for a Palestinian state, something Israel is totally against. So he wanted to address that. And Mamdani is saying that, look, if he's mayor and the prime minister comes, Netanyahu comes, and there's an arrest warrant out issued by the, what's it called? The Court of, yeah, right, International Court of Justice. He would exercise that and arrest him.
Yeah, obviously very, very troubling. The prime minister of the Jewish state, and but my understanding is he doesn't actually have the power to do that. But even just the threats to do it are troubling enough.
Yeah, he doesn't have the power, but I guess he could tell the police to arrest him, couldn't he? Or how? I don't know. How would that work out? I
I
don't
don't know
know.
the particularities
I
of
don't
the
know.
process, but likely, even if it were to take place, he would be released relatively quickly.
Right. So the ADL has decided to set up.
International affairs, foreign affairs, this is the province of the federal government, which
Right,
of
right.
course is overseen by President Trump.
So the ADL watching this man, Mamdani, he's set up a Mamdani monitor. Is that right? Is that what you call it?
That's
Mamdani?
correct. We call it Mamdani Monitor. We also set up a tip line.
Yes.
So the idea of all of this is essentially to garner intelligence. You know, ADL is an organization that has always, we're 113 years old, 112 years old. And since our founding in 1913, one of the most important ways that we deal with both anti-Semitism, hate, extremism, is to shine a light on it. We put out a huge amount of information, backgrounders, on all different issues so that people are aware of it. And often when you shine a light on this hate, it begins to wither. And that's the goal here. Not necessarily for the mayor to wither, but for the concerns around the anti-Semitism to begin to be seen by others, and hopefully for this to be walked back by the administration in some way. So we intend to hold Mayor-elect Mamdani accountable. And the way that we hold him accountable is making sure that everybody understands the statements that are being made, the policies that are being put in place, and the appointments that are being made that could be of concern to the Jewish community. It's all about accountability. Nothing wrong with us being out there and watching.
And the tip line, what do you hope to get for that?
Well, so the tip line is a piece of that. That's part of the way that we gather intelligence. The idea will be that if people, we don't have our eyes and ears everywhere. So if people are seeing things and hearing things that are of concern, they can report it to us, and that becomes the body of intelligence that we use in order to inform that monitor.
Now, I saw some people or groups, I don't recall, a little pushback against the ADL for that, saying, "But that's their job. Why are they making monitoring and all that kind of?" Can you address those critics who?
Yeah, I mean, I think people have taken that out of proportion. They're looking at it and they're making all kinds of assumptions about surveillance and but that's our work. That's our work. Our work, and not just related to Mamdani, but to all kinds of people that are of concern. That we are out there. You can check out our website. You'll see backgrounders on many people that we're concerned about. You'll see reports, many reports, surveys, all kinds of information. So our goal is to put out that information so that the public is aware. And when we raise it to the public, that often has the effect of muting some of the issue because people don't want to be scrutinized in that way for this kind of activity.
You talked about different reports that the ADL has put out. One of them was reveals that there's been anti-Semitic bias in professional academic associations, and that it's widespread. Can you talk about that report?
Yeah, so ADL has a new part of its work. It's called the Ratings and Assessment Institute. The Ratings and Assessment Institute is looking at different entities, organizations, businesses, whatever it is, to offer some sort of sense of where they stand on the issue of dealing with anti-Semitism, of incurring anti-Semitic incidents, what their policies are, etc. So we started with the Campus Anti-Semitism Report Card, which some of your listeners may know about. We started off with 85 schools, and we were assessing what the state of anti-Semitism was on campus in terms of incidents, what the state of Jewish life was, and how well the university was prepared to respond to it through administrative policies. That moved on to the Jewish Policy
Well,
Index.
just before you talk about that, what was it? You come up with a report. What did the administration say? Did they respond? Did they,
We came out with
how
a
did,
report. We gave a letter grade to each of those 85 universities that had a significant Jewish population. And at first, the universities were skeptical and concerned. But in time, the universities came to understand that our goal was to get every university to an A. And we were hopefully telegraphing to them that we wanted a uniform set of policies, which we felt would at least curb anti-Semitism. And we've now found that many universities, first of all, many universities went up from year one to year two. And we'll see that again probably in year three when it comes out. But
when is the next assessment?
the next assessment will be in the spring. I mean, the goal is to make sure that it's out in time or late winter. It's not clear yet, but that it's out in time for students and parents to make their decisions for the following year. So it needs to be out by then. And we saw many universities. I know this firsthand because I'm the director for New York and New Jersey. We have 22 schools that are in the report card right now, and those 22 schools, their administration has been working with us to understand what kind of policies we're looking for and how to improve their grades. So it's been very effective, an effective tool. And
Any failing grades?
yes, of course, there were failing grades. Yeah, yeah. Not in New York and New Jersey, but in other places there certainly were failing grades. But we had A through D in New York and New Jersey, and it's
And
I
by the
think
way, it's online, ADL website carries the
yes,
list.
go to adl.org and you can find it there. You can also just Google ADL or whatever search you use. And Campus Anti-Semitism Report Card. And in addition to, it's a very robust dashboard with a lot of detail and narrative on each of the schools. So that offers the kind of nuance that you don't necessarily get from just a letter grade and some particular bullet points. So there's a lot of information there for every parent and every student to look through and really get a sense.
When you developed that, did you talk to the Hillel? Did you talk to the Chabad on campus? And
Yes, of
yeah,
course. So
yeah.
the process is we send a survey to the administration so that we're getting it directly from the administration, which happened in most instances. It didn't happen in every instance, but in most. But we also sent a survey to Chabad and Hillel, asking them for their assessment. We also have thousands of students across the country who receive surveys, trying to get as much information as possible. And again, it's that same issue that I spoke about before, shine a light. This isn't about developing some, new information. This is about information that's out there, but we are collecting that intelligence and putting it out in a user-friendly way to parents and students and to the administration so that they have a tool. They understand that there's an expectation that they are going to adopt a definition of anti-Semitism as a way to curb anti-Semitism, that they will put in place an anti-Semitism task force as a way to deal with anti-Semitism, that
Oh,
they will
have
do
a number
a
of them?
climate survey on campus.
Yeah.
A lot of you can check out there are 30 different policy recommendations and you can check them all out on our website.
But a number of them you asked put together an anti-Semitism task force, or everybody was asked to do that?
This is uniform for all the schools. There's now
I
130 schools that are part of the report card. In year two, we added an additional 45, and all of them were asked to do exactly the same thing. This is meant to be objective. To be objective, every school needs to be handled the exact same way. The nuance is in that narrative, but in terms of the buckets, which are administrative policies, Jewish life, and incidents, everybody is handled exactly the same way.
And that report card is put out by the school or by you?
It's put out by us.
By you.
Yeah, it's put out by us,
Okay.
but that was only the first. So our second effort was called the Jewish Policy Index. The Jewish Policy Index was put out this summer, and it was an indexed number assessment for each of the states, all 50 states, and how well their legislatures or executives, their policies that they put in place, are handling anti-Semitism. It offered a roadmap for every state for the expectations that ADL has of those states to handle anti-Semitism. We grouped them in three groups: leading states, progressing states, and states that still have work to do. I actually forget the phrase we use for the third group. And New York happened to be a leading state. So it got a very high index score because it's put in place already many of the policies that we look for, although not all. So again, you could check that out on our website, ADL, Jewish Policy Index, it's called. And there's a lot of information there. It really offers a roadmap for legislators who want to have an impact on this issue, but don't necessarily know what they should be doing. And just like both the campus report card, the Jewish Policy Index offers best practices. So we are not just out there saying this is what you should do. We're offering the tools. We're offering the exact way that we hope it will be implemented with model or templated information, or like, for example, we have something called, we call for a climate survey on campus. We have a model climate survey that universities can use. So we offer the tools and resources. In addition, we let them know model universities. So universities that have handled that particular policy well, we say, go and look at that university because they've handled that issue very well. And we do the same with the states. And now the third effort, which is getting back to your original question. Your original question was about professional academic associations. So we did an assessment of 20 of those associations, like the American Psychology Association, and we looked at how well they were dealing with anti-Semitism. And unfortunately, we found that 15 of the 20 major professional academic associations have really fundamentally failed their Jewish members. It really revealed alarming patterns of marginalization, leadership failures, systematic exclusion of Jewish members from their professional communities and academic homes. You see a sort of a quiet departure of Jews from these academic or professional associations. So you can read the full report there, but it's important, and it's become a very important tool, again, shining a light on important industries, organizations, entities. And we'll see more and more coming out. I know that there's one coming out on companies. There's on large language models. This has become a very important new way for ADL to make sure that people have the information they need, and that we put pressure on companies to take responsible action, or other entities.
Right after October 7th, we saw the demonstrations at the colleges and whatnot. A lot of people were surprised to learn that some countries like Qatar were actually giving money to universities and then suggesting that so-and-so be a professor at the university, who would then come to the university and spew anti-Semitic rhetoric in the classroom. What's happened with that?
So that's not a report that we've put out.
No.
But I have heard allegations around that. Obviously, there is concern about where funding is coming from for different university programs. That is an issue out there, but I haven't seen a particular report from ADL on that.
This year, 2025, coming to the end of the year, three Jews three individuals have been killed in anti-Semitic attacks. Two were Jewish. You remember the couple leaving a Jewish museum, and then the woman who was in a demonstration in Boulder, Colorado, marching along with her friends to call attention to the fact that Israelis were still being held hostage by Hamas. And somebody threw a firebomb at them, and she died. Have we seen something like this before? Three deliberate anti-Semitic attacks killing 3 people?
Yeah, obviously terrible. No, it's not the first time that we've seen anti-Semitic attacks. I mean, you can go back to Tree of Life. I think that put the Jewish community very much on edge in
That
2008
was that was a synagogue in
in Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh, right?
in the Squirrel Hill neighborhood of Pittsburgh. And we saw the following year in 2019, the shooting at the kosher supermarket here in Jersey City. And we saw the stabbing at the Hanukkah party in Muncie. And the person who was stabbed ultimately succumbed to their wounds a few months later. No, it's not the first time we've seen fatalities from anti-Semitic actions, and certainly there are many issues, many people that are stopped from engaging in such violent activity. ADL and our intelligence work has certainly been involved, along with partner organizations like CSI, Community Security Initiative, or CSS, Community Security Service, and the federations. This security is very important for the Jewish community. And we've certainly seen many instances of people who've called for violence or threatened violence, but were stopped in time. And this year we saw the very unfortunate fatalities in both Washington, D.C. and Boulder, Colorado. Um, in I do a podcast as well, and some of you may be interested to listen to my interview with my colleague who lives in Boulder, Colorado. She's the director of ADL's office for the Mountain States, and she's a Jewish leader there. And she dealt with this issue. It was very, very personal for her. She knew the people who had been attacked, and she really took this very, very personally, and how one responds in a situation like this. Very difficult. There's a lot of bad rhetoric out there, and we say this all the time. Words matter. You can't just put out words like that and expect that it won't necessarily result in action. Vast majority of people hear bad words and take no action. But you just need one unhinged person who hears difficult rhetoric, who believes in conspiracy theories, and takes that to the ultimate point, and decides that they need to take responsibility and lash out. That was what happened at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, where the person was anti-immigrant and felt that the Jewish community was supporting immigrants, and he needed to take action. I spent 3 days in Buffalo, following the Top supermarket tragedy, representing ADL, and showing my solidarity with the Black community who had suffered this horrific loss. But you have a person who was radicalized on social media and traveled to Buffalo, feeling that this was an act that they needed to take. It's really horrific, and it's not limited to the Jewish community, but I think we do suffer disproportionately, based upon the fact that we're only 2% of the population. But if you look at the hate crimes data, for example, in New York City, it's well over 50% in the past year, and even higher for this year.
Yeah, the number of attacks against you, the percentage that are aimed at Jews.
Aimed at Jews, right? The hate
Right.
crimes. And
Hate
this is
crimes.
NYPD
Yes.
data. This is not even ADL data.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's a wow, very fast half hour, and thank you so much, Scott. Scott Richman. He is the New York, New Jersey Regional Director of the Anti-Defamation League. Good to see you again. And
Thanks
we'll
so
do it
much for
again.
having me on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. My name is Stewart Ain. Until next week, have a good one.